Lam Dong province, a key region in Vietnam's central highlands, has declared a state of emergency following historic flooding and severe landslides that have caused extensive damage and cut off major transport routes since mid-November 2025. The disaster, driven by unrelenting torrential rainfall and the aftermath of consecutive tropical storms like Typhoon Kalmiji, resulted in at least 4 confirmed deaths and significant infrastructural and agricultural devastation in the province. The primary cause of the crisis was a massive volume of rainfall that began around November 14th, with some areas recording over 1.7 meters, 5.6 feet, of rain in just a few days. This extreme weather event, which affected a 500-mile stretch of central Vietnam, overwhelmed river systems and saturated mountainous terrain, leading to catastrophic landslides. In Lam Dong, these landslides became the most pressing threat. Key gateways into the popular tourist hub of Dalat were severed. The Mimosa Pass experienced a severe collapse that left a 50-meter wide and 30-meter deep chasm, completely blocking traffic, while the Prenn and D'ran Passes also suffered substantial road damage, prompting indefinite closures. The provincial authorities mobilized personnel and equipment to clear these routes, with the Prenn Pass expected to temporarily reopen soon, followed by the Mimosa Pass within 10 days. Furthermore, a suspension bridge over the Nhim River was swept away by surging floodwaters around November 20th. These transport disruptions led to the isolation of numerous communities, with 82 households in the Cat Tien commune currently only accessible by boat for food and essential supplies. While the neighboring province of Dak Lak bore the brunt of the national death toll, Lam Dong also recorded significant losses. Official reports confirmed 5 deaths and 1 injury within the province due to the natural disaster. The economic impact on Lam Dong has been severe, with losses estimated at more than 1 trillion VND, approximately $37.9 million USD. The disaster damaged or destroyed numerous properties, with 74 homes washed away and over 2,000 households suffering property damage. At the peak of the flooding, 1,137 houses in the province were inundated. The agricultural sector, vital to the region's economy, was hit hard. Nearly 3,500 hectares of crops were lost. More than 18,000 poultry and 620 livestock were swept away or perished. In response to the crisis, local authorities have worked tirelessly to evacuate residents, provide emergency aid, and restore essential services like power and sanitation. The provincial chapter of the Vietnam Fatherland Front has been instrumental in coordinating relief efforts, distributing over 30 billion VND and tons of supplies to affected communities. At the national level, the VFF Central Committee allocated an additional 30 billion VND to Lam Dong province to aid recovery efforts. The Prime Minister has ordered local leaders to prioritize the reconstruction of destroyed homes so that affected families can rebuild their lives and safely welcome the upcoming Lunar New Year. As of early December 2025, floodwaters in many parts of the province are beginning to recede, and authorities are now focusing on long-term recovery and clearing large amounts of debris to prevent potential disease outbreaks. The situation remains critical in isolated communes, where access to vital services is still limited. The most visible and disruptive damage occurred to the province's transport network, which relies heavily on mountainous passes to connect with other regions. Key arteries into the provincial capital of Dalat were severed. The Mimosa Pass and Prenn Pass, essential transport routes, were closed due to severe landslides, with one collapse creating a 50-meter wide, 30-meter deep chasm at Mimosa. While temporary repairs allowed for a recent partial reopening of some routes, these disruptions caused significant logistical challenges and isolated communities. Floodwaters on December 4th submerged sections of National Highway 1 in areas like the GOP intersection in Hong Son Commune, stranding dozens of vehicles and halting traffic, highlighting ongoing infrastructure vulnerability. A suspension bridge over the Nhim River was washed away. Consequently, 82 households in the remote Cat Tien commune remain isolated, currently relying on boats for access to food and essential supplies. The general infrastructure damage contributed to widespread power outages, affecting 51 out of 301 communes and wards across the heavily impacted provinces at one point. Official reports for Lam Dong confirm that 23 houses were completely destroyed or swept away by the water and required rebuilding, while another 206 homes sustained major damage. At the flood's peak, 1,137 houses in the province were inundated. The province recorded 4 deaths and 1 missing person as a direct result of the disaster. As a major agricultural hub known for vegetables and flowers, the economic backbone of Lam Dong was severely compromised. Nearly 3,500 hectares of crops, primarily high-tech vegetables and flowers grown in greenhouses, were destroyed or severely damaged. In D'ran commune alone, the loss to greenhouses and net houses exceeded 130 billion VND, leaving fields buried in mud and debris. More than 18,600 livestock and poultry in the province were killed or swept away by the floodwaters. Authorities are currently focused on intensive recovery efforts, clearing debris to prevent disease and utilizing national and local funding to rebuild homes and restore agricultural production for the affected families. Meanwhile, police cordoned off sections of National Highway 1A and National Highway 20 as they became impassable due to deep flooding. The Mimosa and D'ran Passes, critical access routes to Dalat, experienced renewed landslides at the same spots damaged in late November, forcing complete closures to all vehicles for safety reasons. The National Civil Defense Steering Committee issued urgent dispatches, urging local authorities from southern Quang Tri Province to Da Nang City and eastern Quang Nai to implement proactive measures, warning of potential high-intensity rainfall exceeding 100 millimeters within 3 hours. The current flooding crisis, which began in earnest in mid-November, is the result of exceptional rainfall volumes, with some areas recording over 1.7 meters, 5.6 feet, of rain. River levels have surpassed historic records in many locations, overwhelming water infrastructure. The cumulative impact across the affected central and south-central provinces, Gia Lai, Dak Lak, Kon Hoa, Lam Dong, and Quang Nai, is staggering. Nationwide, the death toll from natural disasters in 2025 has reached 409 people. The mid-November floods alone accounted for over 100 deaths and missing persons. Over 200,000 houses were inundated at the peak of the floods, with hundreds completely destroyed. Authorities have conducted mass evacuations, relocating thousands to safer ground. Initial damage assessments for the November floods alone were estimated at over 16.2 trillion VND, $614.3 million USD. The total economic damage for the year has ballooned to nearly $3.9 billion USD.